because there they felt that they were learning that 21st century skills. So that is a kind of a motivation. Some of them are 12, some of them are graduate, but I was very happy to know that
like to have a brief idea about what you think how the education system has evolved so far. I mean, when you were yourself a student, things were definitely different, right? So what do you think has changed majorly, and if it's changed for good or bad?
In spite of the fact that we had the last education policy in 1986, and after that a few changes were brought about in 1992, and the curriculum, the syllabi did not change per se as per the policy, but there was in between a choice-based credit system. Many courses were introduced, like we had BBA, we had BCA, which was introduced. Then there were teachers not being appointed, but then we were trying to find teachers for these kind of courses, and the change was really required. So we are very happy that this change is coming in, because the teachers were teaching in that old traditional conventional style of blackboard. It only shifted from a blackboard to a green board and then to a whiteboard. But the students had moved much ahead, and in fact they had lot of study material which they would Google, which they would find on the net, and there was a lot of knowledge generation by the students, much more than I think the senior teachers were doing it, but in spite of the fact that some of the junior teachers were trying to match the boys and the girls of the young age. But still the students, they were becoming so much disinterested in the classes, because they realized that the teachers were only following a particular book, whereas there was so much of material available on the net, but they did not know how to sieve that material and how to use that material. So as a result, there was becoming a lot of disinterest among the students to attend the formal classes in the schools and colleges, because they felt that they knew much. And also that they, with the access that they had to the some of the league schools and the methodology that was being adopted, with globalization and liberalization and movement of people in different areas, they felt that we were much behind, and which was felt even by the teachers who were doing research. And when the children were joining the IITs and the IIMs, and realizing that they required a lot of learning at the basic level than attending the classes. So I think I personally feel, and my students also, when they were more interested in the co-curricular, because there they felt that they were learning that 21st century skills which were required, which was helping them to understand, evaluate cause and effect, कि ये क्यों हुआ, कैसे हो रहा है, और हमें क्या करना है, and finding their own solutions, which sometimes even the teachers didn't know. So it's a welcome document. It's a welcome vision document, and I'm very hopeful that most of the things that are mentioned in the vision document as envisaged take and translate in ground reality over the years, so that the students benefit.
It has been ensured in the policy that Anganwadis and preschools will have well-developed infrastructure, play equipment, and recruiting well-trained teachers, ensuring a learning-friendly environment, laying emphasis on ECCE. Considering the current conditions of such institutes, what are the major challenges for the complete implementation of these policies at the ground level?
See, as far as I can talk about my city, Chandigarh, and now being associated with the school education, I'm very happy to inform that preschool in government schools and in private schools, so of course, everywhere they have preschools. Even in government schools of Chandigarh, preschool is a part of the formal school system. And also we have more than 400 Anganwadis in and around the city in the peripheral areas. Of course, there is a great divide which we can see between the formal preschool and nursery classes, because that print, every wall having that print understanding of things is not there. In Anganwadi, what has happened is it's an Anganwadi. So Angan means it's an open area where the some of the teachers, I think some of them are metric, the existing senior teachers are just 8th, some of them are 12th, some of them are graduate. But I was very happy to know that the data, the research shows that 80% of the teacher or the Anganwadi workers are graduates. So that means they have attended college, they are aware of the requirement of knowledge learning that has to be given to the students. So there is a challenge of shifting the Anganwadis, every Anganwadi, to a school campus. But let me tell you, the new education policy 2020, the NEP 2020, has a hallmark of flexibility. So it has given 4 ways in which the ECCE can go on. You can have a standalone Anganwadis, we can have the Anganwadis within the school campus, then the pre-nursery, nursery can be part of a small primary school, or we can have standalone pre-nursery schools. But the best part is that, the implementation part is yet to be formalized and given to us. And a lot of suggestions, recommendations have been asked for by the ministry. But let me tell you that every Anganwadi is going to be at least attached to one school, one formal school, and 1 or 2 days, if the children of the Anganwadi are able to come to the school or visit a formal school nearby, that will help the teachers and the students to understand and develop a liking for at least being prepared to go to a formal schooling system. At the same time, the implementation part, the government has also has a portal, that is Diksha. So all those teachers who are graduates and are Anganwadis workers, they are going to be allowed to do 6 months training course on Diksha portal at their own time and availability, which they can do. And all those who are less than 12th, less than graduate, will be allowed 1 year to take that course, in which they will be learning the pedagogy and the various other art integration curriculum that is going to be framed by the NCCEF, which is going to frame for them in the school. So I think that's a very good step, and there is no hurry. There is a lot of planning being done at all level, and flexibility being given, so that I think should not be a challenge, other than some structural or administrative challenges that have come up.
You know that India is the land of hundreds of languages, so we have to be connected among different states, as there are several states, and so won't it create too much of communication barriers among different regions if everyone is taught in their respective languages and they are not able to understand other who is from different state and all? So won't it be like they will be isolated from the rest of the country?
It has proved through research that the students who learn in their mother tongue in the initial years do better and learn good English. Now let me tell you, if you see most of the scholars, they come from, they have learned from mother tongue. The earlier, recently we had a program which there was a Shiksha Parv, in which I came across one of the scholars who was promoting language. I'm forgetting his name. He studied Sanskrit, His mother tongue was his mother language. And he said, my grandfather was a scholar of Sanskrit. So he taught me maths, which I learned. And, he was able to recite shlokas. And he learned maths through his regional language, which he found it very interesting, which created that interest for him in maths. And he went up to Harvard. And now he's promoting that, and that was a very good idea, that you could learn certain subjects through culture, through those art integration, and that would be, learning joyfully, learning creatively. So that is the idea. And you can also learn a foreign language. In fact, this policy envisages that in the next 3 years, up to class 9, you will study 3 languages, and when you are in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you will take one foreign language also you can learn. So I don't think there is a barrier, because if you see the research in the countries, those students who are initially learning in their mother tongue have more interest and know better and learn joyfully when they try and compare things in different languages. So English, of course, is a unifying language for all of us. But let me tell you, when we were students, I was a student, or these scholars who've been part of this document and various other scholars, they were, for them, their mother tongue was not English. I think those children who have learned in their primary school, in their villages or in small towns, are doing much better and have brought innovation to the learning when they have not followed the normal path of learning in only one language of English, which is actually alien for the family and the extended family, to be of support to the child and explain things at home.
The new education policy emphasizes on practical and experimental learning rather than the existing rote learning structure. So hands-on learning seems to be the foremost priority in this vision document. So how do you think these ideas can be incorporated so that neither the students nor the teachers feel overwhelmed by these changes?
ऐसा है कि मैंने ना एक इसी उपलक्ष्य में I heard a story which I would like to narrate here. Now what happened was कि बहुत सारे ऐसे engineers थे, है ना, और बहुत सारे, और एक उन्होंने they were there, एक अंदर बहुत अच्छी कार बनाई और जो दरवाजे से बाहर नहीं निकल रही थी. I think आपने WhatsApp पे भी ये story सुनी होगी. So they all those engineers, the managers, they were all standing there, and somebody said the door has to be broken, the door is very small. Somebody said the building has to be broken because this car has to go out, और कार को तो खरोंच भी नहीं आनी चाहिए, तो ये कैसे होगा? So all of them were deliberating for last 2-3 days, and they did not have an answer. So one of them said कि okay, we have one experienced old man जो ये पास ही काम करता है, हम इसको लेकर आते हैं. तो उसको लेकर आए तो उसने कहा कि भाई थोड़ा सा ही फर्क है ना, आप ऐसे करो, टायर की हवा निकाल दो, ठीक है, गाड़ी बाहर आ जाएगी, और उसके बाद आप उसमें हवा बाहर भर लेना. Now this is experience, right? Now another story that I heard just 2 days back was that there was a machine which was working and it just stopped, and the engineers, the mechanical engineers were really trying to see what happened, because वो सिर्फ रुक गई थी और वो उसमें ऐसा नहीं था कि वो स्टार्ट नहीं हो सकती. So they saw ये हो सकता है, ये हो सकता है. So they said कि नहीं, ये ऐसा तो नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है. So they said okay. So one person said there is another person who specializes only in कि अगर ये रुक जाती है तो उसको कैसे चलाना है, और उसका एक्सपीरियंस है इस चीज में, तो हम उसको बुलाते हैं. तो उसने आके क्या किया, 3 हथौड़े मारे, ठीक है, और उसके बाद वो मशीन चल पड़ी. तो उन्होंने सबने कहा कि ये कैसे हुआ कि हम तो सारे कर रहे थे और हमें तो पता ही नहीं चला कि we were trying and we were not able to find the fault. So he said that तुमने सबने पढ़ाई तो बहुत की है, ठीक है, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी डिग्रियां भी हैं, बड़े बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट से भी पढ़े हैं, लेकिन इस हथौड़े को कहाँ मारना है वो आपने नहीं सीखा, क्योंकि आपने प्रैक्टिकली नहीं किया. So that is the difference between what our institutions have been doing, our engineering institutions have been doing, and the people have been learning. आज एक इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर या एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर को अगर हम घर में कहें कि बल्ब चेंज कर लो, तो शायद 50% बच्चे ऐसा नहीं कर पाते. तो उनको लगता है कि अरे ये तो इसको कैसे करना है, ये कैसे करेंगे, इसको स्विच अगर वो फ्यूज उड़ गया है तो वो नहीं लगा पाते. So that means there is a disconnect between the real life situation, those little things, and the other things. So it is very important that the child learns and is prepared to for the real life situation. These are little examples that I'm telling you. There was another story that I heard in one of these programs only, that he said that one of the great personality from one of the educational institutions of an Ivy League, he came to India and he wanted to go somewhere. So हमारे एक प्रोफेसर ने कहा ठीक है मेरे साथ चलो, मैं तुम्हें वहाँ छोड़ देता हूँ. वो उसको स्कूटर पे लेके गया और रास्ते में उसका स्कूटर खराब हो गया. So वो जो लीग यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर थे, वो इतने he was very well read person, वो उतरे और उन्होंने अपने स्लीव्स फोल्ड किए और उन्होंने कहा कि मैं देखता हूँ कि ये खराब हो सकता है. So he said मैं वहाँ खड़ा हो गया, मुझे तो कुछ पता ही नहीं था कि मैं क्या देख सकता हूँ, क्योंकि मैं तो मैकेनिक ढूंढ रहा था. So there is these little situations the children have not been prepared for, and there is a disconnect. आज बच्चों को लड़कियां हों लड़के हों, उनका बटन टूट जाए तो उनको एक बटन लगाना नहीं आता अपने घर अपनी शर्ट का. उनको और बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें जो नहीं आती हैं. तो इस तरह की अगर प्रैक्टिकल लर्निंग होगी, दैट विल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द एजुकेशन. एजुकेशन मीन्स टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड टू फेस द रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस. तो ये एग्जाम्पल्स ये शो करते हैं, and I think they're all realities which you can all understand that this is the reality. And to do away with this, it's very important कि बच्चों को बहुत सारी चीजें जो हैं वो सिखाई जाएं जो इस पॉलिसी में एनविजन किया गया है.
Class 10 and 12 board exams will be reformed to eliminate the need for coaching institutes. How do you think that board and entrance exam should be reformed to accommodate this practical and experimental approach of learning and eliminate the need of coaching institutes as well at the same time?
See, when there is going to be multidisciplinary approach, and a student of physics can learn music, and when there is practical application, I think the need for tuitions is going to be reduced. Because let me tell you that OECD countries, they conduct PISA examination, in which the system of education is seen and evaluated, and for that some sample survey is done. So India has decided to be a part of this PISA examination assessment, and for that Chandigarh has been chosen. And the PISA examination was to be conducted in 20, there was to be field trials, and 21 there was going to be the main examination, which has got pushed because of the pandemic. Now here we have seen that when the students have started learning, comprehending and learning things, the need for tuitions has gone. When the questions are not going to be based on rote learning, when the students examine, when there is going to be no marks for what you are learning, there are only going to be grades. There is going to be qualitative evaluation of the children more than the quantitative evaluation, and the interests of the children are going to be brought out when the children are going to learn and see what they really like to learn, and when these marks are not going to be important. So I think there is going to be a lot of difference, and the need for coaching centers is also going to change. Similarly, there is also envisaged in this policy that all the students coming from different boards, from different regional boards and whatever, there is going to be a common aptitude test which the child will take, and based on that test, there is going to be the joining of these students. Similarly, the gifted children who are in different areas, they will be appearing in different examination. They will be given extra application of things, and they, based on those examination or those evaluation patterns, they will be given admission in the institutions of higher learning. So there is going to be a lot of change which is going to take place. Of course, it's not immediate. The NEP and 2020 envisages that in the next 20 years, by 2040, the whole new education policy will be implemented, and every 5 years there is going to be evaluation of things, how it is moving forward and what needs to be changed in that system. So I think gradually the need for this kind of additional coaching will gradually go.
As NEP mentions that there will be no hard separation among curricular, co-curricular or extracurricular among arts, humanities and sciences, or between vocational and educational streams. So does this make the overall structure a little bit confusing for the students, as they are provided with a lot of options at such an early age where they may take wrong decisions?
There is a policy of exit and re-entry also. If I feel that if I have taken physics and music and my interest is not there, I can change from that subject after 10th. Now it is not that कि आपने 11वीं 12वीं 9वीं 10वीं में जो लिया वही आपने 11वीं 12वीं में पढ़ना है. आप 9th 10th में बायो, मैथ्स और कॉमर्स का सब्जेक्ट का कॉम्बिनेशन लीजिए. Or in the 11th 12th, if you feel that you're not interested and you want to follow artificial intelligence and the computer subject, and then along with that you want to study maths or physics, you have that option also. So there are no watertight compartments. As I said, the hallmark of this policy is flexibility, and that flexibility has been given to the student. Now that will depend upon the available resources in the schools, on the basis of which they can offer different subjects in the given number of teachers and the timetable that they can have. So that combination will vary. But there are schools. There is one school under the municipal corporation, the Mahatma Gandhi Institution, where the children for the last 24 years, there was an example by that, she is Miss Kaur, if I remember her correctly, and she writes Kaurwr, right? Now, she has been running a school, and she is very much important, a part of this document, in saying that there should be no watertight compartments between curricular, co-curricular, physical, and commerce, arts, medical, non-medical, or there should be liberal arts. Why not? There are certain universities which are giving the option of liberal arts already. And there is an example of the Apple founder who had in his team, he had people who were musicians, who were artists, who were theatre persons, who were also engineers, who were managers. So he had a combination of them, and then he was able to give out the product of, I'm talking of Steve Jobs. And even that symbol of Apple that he created was because of the creative aspects of the people in his team, and he himself had learned calligraphy to be able to understand what it requires. So this kind of a combination will definitely bring forward many things, and there is no confusion about it. For example, I'm talking about Ms. Kaur, who gave this example. She said, we give one project to the students, and in that project, the children were able to calculate that if about transportation. Now, the project is only transportation, and the children in various levels were able to see that this is the size of the tire, this is the kind of revolution it makes, this is the total area it has to cover, this is the distance it has to cover, this is the kind of road on which it will be traveling, and this is going to be the life of the this thing. And based on that, they were able to tell us that this is the type of weight which the thing should carry, the vehicle should carry as an optimum, so that the life of the tire is increased to this extent. Now you tell me, this is a combination of so many things. The children from this toys of transportation have learned physics, they've learned maths, they've learned the climate, they've learned the roads that are laid down and the physiography on over which the road is moving. So this kind of thing is multidisciplinary, and this will be learned, this will come only when the children are given the option. Lot many students, they just don't want to learn maths and then they just drop out. You see so many children committing suicide. But I think if the child is interested in theatre and he is allowed to continue with theatre as a subject, which has equal value as all the elective subjects, then why not? He should be given that option so that he knows who is doing what he wants to do. And at the same time, that is why a change required even in the teaching of B.Ed courses, so that the teachers also become sensitive to understanding what is the interest of the student, and also the need for counselors in schools to do those aptitude tests and help the children to learn and find out those hidden talents within them, because every child has those talents. So they have to be just brought forward by the teachers for the child to know what he really wants, and that will help.
A lot of emphasis is seen in the digitalization of education, facilitating e-learning, like providing e-books, open distance learning, and so on. But as we know that nearly 70% of our population lives in villages, and we are very much aware of the fact that many villages still do not have stable electricity, and most of them do not have stable internet connectivity. So in reference to this, how do you analyze this policy? And in approximately how many years do you actually see the proper execution and implementation of these?
The dropout. We had the RTE Act, where every child was to be brought to the school, right? So that the child could have basic education. But because I did a project for the construction workers, and when I was meeting the families, the wife, the females and their children who were playing whole day there, I asked them, I'll help you to get them enrolled in the government schools nearby. Why don't you send them? So the group of ladies, the answer was really good. Their understanding. They said, "Ma'am, आप उनको पढ़ाते हो जो स्कूल में, वो हमारे किस काम का आना है? वो तो ना खेती के बारे में पढ़ाया जाता है उसको, ना वो हमारा जो काम है उसमें वो कैसे मदद करेगा उसके बारे में पढ़ाया जाता है। उसे तो नोट काउंट करने आ जाए, उसे थोड़ा सा भाषा समझ में आ जाए और अपना ध्यान कैसे रखना है ये आ जाए, तो आई थिंक वो, और उसे जो करना चाहता है वो करने के लिए दिया जाए। तो उसे तो ये भी नहीं पता, वो कहते हैं हमारे कुछ बच्चे जो जा रहे हैं उन्हें तो ये भी नहीं पता कि अगर हमें पढ़ना है अपने देश में जाके, तो आप उनको 1 2 3 पढ़ाते हो, और वो जब गांव में जाके बस का नंबर हम उनसे पूछते हैं तो वो हमें बस का नंबर भी नहीं बता सकते, तो वो 5वीं में पढ़ रहे होते हैं, तो उस पढ़ाई का हमारे को क्या फायदा? अब I have no answer to that. Now this national education policy, I think, gives the answer that the children has the right, और वो अपने मदर टंग में पढ़ना चाहे, और अगर वहाँ टीचर ना हो तो वो अपना ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग से 20% ऑफ द सिलेबस जो है वो ऑनलाइन भी कर सकता है। दूसरा ये है कि ड्रॉप आउट्स इसलिए भी ज्यादा हैं क्योंकि उन्हें लगता है कि हमने काम तो जाके अपने फादर का खेती बाड़ी करना है, और ज्यादा पढ़ लिख जाएंगे। अब जैसे पंजाब में बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि साडे मुंडे ने जदों तो पैंट पानी शुरू की है, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, कि ट्राउजर डालनी शुरू की है तो वो बाबू बन गया है, उसे लगता है कि अब खेती का काम नहीं मैं कर सकता। So somewhere that dignity of labor, that vocationalization of education is not there. If a child has to become a rag picker, if has to be brought in, और उसने मोची का काम करना है या उसने और कोई ऐसा काम करना है, तो उसे उस फील्ड में एक डिस्कनेक्ट लगता है एजुकेशन का, तो अगर हम वो लोकल कम्युनिटी के साथ लाकर उसे उस तरह की ट्रेनिंग दें कि अगर उसने प्लम्बर बनना है तो प्लम्बिंग के कितनी डिविजन्स हैं, कितनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, कितनी स्पेशलाइजेशन है, आई थिंक अगर हम वो उसको वोकेशनल एजुकेशन में प्रोवाइड करेंगे तो देयर विल बी नो ड्रॉप आउट्स एंड दे वुड बी इंटरेस्टेड टू लर्न and then to move forward. लेकिन अगर हम उन्हें theoretical information देते रहेंगे जो उन्हें लगता है कि हमारे किसी काम का ही नहीं है और इससे हमें नौकरी नहीं मिलनी है, तो then they are discouraged. So as a result, this policy, and that is why it has given equal importance to every branch of knowledge, curricular, co-curricular, formal, informal, cultural, language, everything is part of the understanding. And जो भी बच्चा पढ़ना चाहे, जिस भी लेवल तक पढ़ना चाहे, जैसे भी पढ़ना चाहे, अपनी स्पीड से पढ़ना चाहे, जिस भाषा में पढ़ना चाहे, वो उसे अलाउ किया गया है. सो आई थिंक नाउ द ड्रॉप आउट रेट इज गोइंग टू फॉल एंड लॉट मेनी चिल्ड्रन आर गोइंग टू कम टू स्कूल मोर देन दे वर कमिंग अर्लियर. So once it's rolled out, only I think we will be able to see. And I think when we complete 75 years, say a century of our independence, तब तक इस न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के जेस्टेशन पीरियड खत्म हो जाएगा और इसके रिजल्ट्स दिखने शुरू हो जाएंगे. बिकॉज दिस इज द एजुकेशन इज वन थिंग इन विच यू कैन नॉट सी द रिजल्ट्स सून. It has to be given time. The mindset of the people has to change. They have to accept, and gradually as it goes on. But I'm sure when we are celebrating our 100 years of independence, by that time, our students of all schools and universities will be able to see and get the 21st century skills that are required. So this is the first document policy of this century. So I'm sure a lot of changes will be brought in. Now, as far as your digital question is concerned, I think we are looking forward towards your institutions like yours and others who can at least provide some kind of a device which the children can use in the classes and to learn at their own pace. We please don't look at the device only as an e-learning resource, but I think if we use this as a device to provide the student a support to learn at his or her own speed and at the time available to the child, once these lessons are there for the child, the audio visual together is going to increase the understanding of the document of the lesson, and at the same time provide the child the opportunity to work and support the family if required and learn at his or her own pace. Like for example, we have seen that during these times when the students were given assignments, some of the migrant workers or some of the low income group children, they have been sending their assignments to us at night 4 o'clock also. This means the child wants to learn. Maybe the father was coming late home, the device was not available to the child, so he was doing the homework, uploading all that, and morning he was getting up at 3:34 to send that homework to the teacher for checking. So that means the children are there, but we want some cheap device which does not cost much, and that will not only be for I don't want to say that it is for e-learning, but to provide that to the child to study at his own pace, at his own time, and at his own speed, so that he doesn't feel psychologically less less intelligent than the others who learn faster in the class, and those who come forward in the class or have more confidence than the others. So this is going to be helpful, especially to those students who are a little introvert, who don't come forward, and maybe they have a little complex when they see the others. So if we look at it as a device, it can be complementary to the physical learning in the class and help the students to do their assignments.
have an initiative called Open Learning Initiative, where our volunteers create educational videos for classes 8 to 10 in over 9 regional languages. These videos are then edited and uploaded on the OLI YouTube channel. The channel recently crossed over 1 crore views and has over 1.2 lakh subscribers. And also,
Great, that's great.
yeah.
Congratulations.
And you mentioned about the Diksha portal. So some of our videos, OLI videos, have also been used in the Diksha portal.
Oh, great. That's nice. That's very nice.
And the Bihar education system also used some of the videos in their education system. So
That's
as
nice.
NEP emphasizes on online education, how big a role do you think can OLI play in this part? Also, how do you think we can improve from our side?
If you are only now, let me tell you, in CBSE, what they've done is every book has learning outcomes and it has a QR code.
Right.
So the moment we do the QR code in Diksha, all the material with reference to that chapter opens up. Right? वो और उनको रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस से अगर आप जोड़ेंगे तो अब जैसे हम बच्चों को आजकल ये कहते हैं कि आप रैपर पे कम से कम ये तो देखो कि ये वेजिटेरियन है नॉन वेजिटेरियन है, वो भी बच्चों को पता नहीं है. समटाइम्स दे डोंट इवन नो कि अगर केमिकल की डेट एक्सपायर हो गई कि नहीं हो गई है. छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, वो बहुत कुछ पढ़ लिया 5वीं तक, लेकिन ये बेसिक चीज के बारे में ना, फिर उनको कहते हैं जी ये तो हमें कहीं पढ़ाया ही नहीं गया था. अरे भाई पढ़ा. So this is how the things are, you know. So I think what you need to do is real life learning. तो जो भी आप लोग पढ़ा रहे हैं उसका रियल लाइफ के सिचुएशन को वो कैसे हेल्प करेगा. If that is also done with that will really help. And I know, I'm sure you people are doing a wonderful job because you people are that cream of the country where you have that vision and you're working, taking the country forward. But I think that is what is required. So now I think the perspective has to change. So everything that we do has to be कि ये कितने लोगों के काम आ सकता है और ये कितने लोगों को अपलिफ्टमेंट की तरफ लेकर जाएगा, और दूसरा ये है कि इससे कितने लोग रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन में कहाँ उसका फायदा उठा सकते. तो चाहे वो पहली की पढ़ाई हो, चाहे दूसरी की हो, चाहे तीसरी की हो, आई एम श्योर कुछ ऐसे लोग भी हैं जो फर्स्ट टाइम लर्नर्स हैं, जो अपने माँ बाप को साथ पढ़ाते हैं. आजकल तो हमने देखा है कि जब ये डिजिटल लर्निंग का टाइम है, तो जब कई हमारी तो छोटा सा सिटी है चंडीगढ़, लेकिन जहाँ स्टेट्स में लाउड स्पीकर से पढ़ाया जाता है, रेडियो से पढ़ाया जा रहा है, टीवी से पढ़ाया जा रहा है, तो उसमें क्या हो रहा है कि द होल फैमिली इज सिटिंग एंड लर्निंग. So sometimes you see a grandmother of 70-80 years old sitting with the child and learning. So that's a learning thing for all. But I think अगर हम उसको real life situation से और उसको एक फायदे से नहीं जोड़ेंगे, तो फिर gradually वो उनका जो एक mindset है ना कि पढ़ाई का फायदा क्या होने वाला है, वो रहेगा. और इसलिए उसको निकालना उनके दिमाग से बहुत जरूरी है कि नहीं, पढ़ाई करने से उसे ये फायदा होगा. So that is what I would like to say.
NSS has good relations with NGOs, and there are several initiatives such as Vidya, LCCWA, which stands for Logic Center, and Community Welfare Association. So these are basically initiatives that cater to the educational needs of NGO children in the slums nearby our campus. NEP emphasizes a lot on experimental and hands-on method of learning. NGOs may not be able to efficiently deal with this change because due to lack of infrastructure or the knowledge required to teach children hands-on experience learning. So how do you think we as IIT students, like the volunteers in this part, contribute in this part of the new education system?
I think if you develop, if you make a bank of resources in which you get connected to the people who have retired maybe from teaching from different departments, so those people who have administrative experience, they may be ready to give their time for these kind of activities. And if you involve them with their experiences, like in our schools, what we have done is we have a tie-up with these bureaucrats, for the police officers, the military officers, the teachers who have retired. And at times, if they want to go and talk to the students or teach them in particular, they do go there. So what happens is that the children know कि ये हमारे DIG हैं ये, तो वो हमारे आज हमसे बात करने के लिए. So that is a kind of a motivation, and also a kind of when they share their experiences, it sparks that interest in the child. So if you ask them, हफ्ते बाद आप पूछेंगे क्या बनना चाहते हो, वो कहते हैं जी वो DIG साहब के जैसे हम पुलिस ऑफिसर बनना चाहते हैं. तो ये this kind, if you make that kind of a list for those areas of those kind of people who have that experience and have time to devote, maybe even if you have a lot of them, and they can come maybe once a month to your areas when you are dealing with these slum children. एक तो उससे शायद वो कुछ ना कुछ रिसोर्सेज भी लेकर आएंगे, इवन इफ दे आर ओनली पेंसिल्स एंड रबर्स और कॉपीज. और दूसरा ये होगा कि एक आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव विद एक्सपीरियंस आपको मिलेगा, जिससे आप अपने एक नई पीढ़ी की सोच के साथ उसे इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं. सो दैट कैन बी डन.
Thank you so much for such an informative and enlightening session. I think all the students who will watch this session will get a lot to learn. And also, I want to thank you again for giving us a precious time and for sharing your views and opinions with us. It was indeed a great session, and thank you so much for joining.